The mysterious photograph. The first day Anna and her family moved into their new house, Anna found a framed picture in the corner of the top shelf of her closet. It was the only object left behind. A black and white photo of a young woman and 3 children about Anna's age in front of a white stone building. The well-dressed woman was smiling, and the 3 children behind her seemed happy too. They didn't seem like her children, though, because they were in a straight line and they didn't have similar facial features. There was writing on the back of the mysterious photograph, but it had mostly been smudged out. The only legible words were Somerville, her town, and the name Nelson. Anna's curiosity began to wander, and she became determined to find out about the building and people in the photograph. Anna's family loved the new house they purchased in their same hometown. It was at the end of a long dirt road. It had an extra room so Anna didn't have to share a bedroom with her sister, and a flat yard perfect for cartwheels and catching ball. Anna's mom enjoyed the rose bushes full of blooms right by the dining room window. Their dog Randy loved the house too, chasing squirrels up the large, shady oak tree near the back patio. There was just something about the place that was comforting and refreshing. It was like snuggling up in a warm blanket with a good book. Maybe it was how the light from the living room windows made the room turn golden, or the way the kitchen always smelled like cookies baking, or the large screened windows that allowed a fresh breeze to circulate throughout the house. The discovery of the photo made Anna even more curious about who had lived in this amazing home before them. When Anna asked her parents, they told her the house was bought from a company that flipped, fix and resell, homes in the area. Previous owners were not listed in the contract. Now Anna had to come up with another plan. She decided to ring the doorbell of their only neighbor. Unfortunately, Mrs. Jansen had also just moved in recently, so couldn't help. Anna felt like she was at a dead end. At school the next week, Anna had a great idea. She showed the picture to her teacher and asked, "Ms. Reynolds, do you know where this picture might have been taken? It's a really old building." With surprise, Ms. Reynolds replied, "That's the old elementary school that used to stand right here. It got torn down 20 years ago." This excited Anna, who felt like she was much closer to finding out who was in the photo. The people in the picture interested Miss Reynolds too. She was not old enough to have a black and white picture of herself, but she spent her first year teaching in the old building. Ms. Reynolds suggested Anna to look in the library at old class photos and yearbooks. When she got there, Anna asked Mr. Nelson, the head librarian, "Can you please guide me to the old class photos? I want to look at ones taken in black and white." Since this was an unusual request, Mr. Nelson asked, "Why do you need old class photos? Are you doing a project?" "No," Anna replied. "I found a photo in my house that was taken outside the old school building, and I wanted to see if I could find out who is in it." "Let me see the photograph," said Mr. Nelson. Anna handed him the picture, which she had kept in the frame to keep it from getting damaged in her backpack. The look on Mr. Nelson's face was priceless, turning from curious to shocked. "This is my grandmother!" Mr. Nelson exclaimed. Mr. Nelson's eyes had tears in them as he explained. "She was the first librarian here in Somerville. This must have been from the first years that she worked here. She looked so young. When I was in school, I was honored to be one of her library helpers. Where did you find this?" Anna explained that she had found it in their new house, and Mr. Nelson smiled because he knew that house very well. Mr. Nelson told Anna stories all about the good times he spent with his grandmother there, smelling the cookies she used to bake, swinging on the tire that hung from the big oak in the backyard, and catching fireflies on the back porch. He told her about reading with his grandmother by the fireplace, and how it made him love books. He even told her about his secret hiding place for treasures. During one of his childhood adventures, he dug and buried treasures in an old lunchbox by the oak tree on the side facing the house. When Anna got home, she excitedly began digging up the box. It was full of unique stones, dried flowers, and a bag of colorful marbles. Anna decided that the comforting and refreshing feeling she felt in her new home was the characteristics of an older home and the history throughout it. She knew it was a place where people had spent many good times and created memories to cherish. She was grateful for the mystery photograph left behind that led her to learn about the house. Anna immediately decided she would start a tradition. Whenever it is her turn to move out, she would leave something behind too. She can be a part of a little history and make the next people also feel welcome in their new home.